Ever felt lost while trying to navigate Docker file systems? Welcome to the fascinating world of Docker, a powerful tool that simplifies the process of managing and deploying applications in lightweight containers. At its heart, Docker is all about creating a smooth, efficient environment for developers and system administrators. One of the key components of Docker is its file system. It's a layered structure somewhat similar to an onion. Each layer represents a change in the file system, such as the addition of a new file or modification of an existing one. However, the intricacies of these file systems can often present a challenge. Many find it daunting to navigate through these layers and understand the changes that each one holds. The good news? It doesn't have to be that way. With a solid understanding and the right approach, navigating Docker file systems can be as easy as a stroll in the park. So, stay tuned as we break down the process of navigating Docker file systems into easy-to-follow steps. Docker file systems operate in layers. But what does that mean, you may ask? Well, let's break it down. In a nutshell, the layered structure of Docker file systems is like a stack of pancakes, with each pancake representing a different layer. These layers are not just mere divisions of the file system, but rather, they are a series of changes or updates made to the file system. Imagine building a house. You start with the foundation, then add the walls, the roof, and finally, the interior decorations. Each of these stages can be seen as a layer in the Docker file system. The initial foundation layer is the base image, and each subsequent layer represents changes or updates made to the system. Now, what's fascinating about Docker file systems is that each layer is only a set of differences from the one beneath it. This means that instead of storing entire copies of the file system for each layer, Docker only stores the changes. For example, if you add a new file to a layer, Docker doesn't create a new copy of the entire file system. It merely records that a new file has been added. This structure has several benefits. First, it's incredibly efficient. By only storing changes, Docker significantly reduces the amount of storage space needed. Second, it offers a robust system for version control. It's easy to track changes and roll back to previous versions if necessary because each layer represents a specific set of changes. Furthermore, this layered approach allows for greater flexibility and reusability. Since each layer is an isolated change, they can be shared across different containers, reducing redundancy and speeding up the build process. So, in essence, Docker file system layers are like a finely tuned orchestra, each playing its part to create a harmonious whole. They allow for efficiency, version control, and reusability, fundamental characteristics that make Docker an essential tool in today's tech world. Now, armed with the understanding of Docker file system layers, let's move on to navigation. Navigating Docker file systems can be a breeze once you know the right steps. Let's begin this journey by understanding how to list all Docker containers. The command docker psa is your go-to tool for this. Docker ps is used to list all running containers. The A flag, short for all, shows both running and stopped containers. You'll see a list complete with container ID, image name, command, creation time, status, ports, and names. It's a handy snapshot of your Docker landscape. Next, we'll move into a Docker container. The docker exec command is perfect for this task. It allows you to run commands in a running container. The syntax is docker exec /bin/bash. The it flag allows for interactive processes, and /bin/bash opens a bash shell in the container. Simply replace "u" with your chosen container's ID, and voila, you're inside a Docker container. Once inside, you'll notice that the command line prompt changes, reflecting your new location. From here, you can navigate the file system much like any other Linux system. The lsls command lists files and directories in the current directory. cd changes the current directory, and pwd displays the path of the current directory. Remember, each Docker container is isolated, so the changes you make here won't affect your host system or other containers. Let's say you want to view the contents of a file. The cat command followed by the file name will display its contents right in the terminal. If the file is large, use less instead of cat to view the file one page at a time. To search for a specific file, use the find command. For example, Find and name myfile.xt will search the entire file system for myfile.exe. And there you have it. You've navigated Docker file systems, listed your containers, entered a container, navigated within it, viewed file contents, and even searched for a specific file. It's like a whole new world of exploration has opened up. Remember, practice makes perfect. That's it. You've just navigated a Docker file system. Navigating Docker file systems might have seemed daunting at first, but not anymore, right? Let's take a moment to look back and summarize what we've learned today. At the heart of Docker's magic lies its unique file system. Docker uses a layered file system. It's like a stack of building blocks, each layer representing a set of file changes. When a Docker image is built, each instruction in the Docker file creates a new layer in the image. This layered structure is beneficial for a number of reasons. It allows Docker to share common files across multiple containers, making the whole system more efficient and faster. Remember how we compared Docker layers to building blocks? Well, navigating these layers is like exploring a multi-story building. You can move up and down, inspect each floor, and even make changes if you have the necessary permissions. The key is to understand that each layer is read only, except for the top one, which is writable. This is what allows Docker to share common files across different containers without risking any unwanted changes. Navigating within a container is similar to navigating any Linux file system. You can use commands like cd to change directories, lse to list files, and cat to display file contents. Commands like docker cp allow you to copy files between your container and your host machine. It's all about knowing the right commands and understanding how they work. The beauty of Docker lies in its simplicity and efficiency. Its layered file system not only makes it lightweight and fast, but also easy to navigate once you get the hang of it. So don't be intimidated. Embrace the layers, understand their purpose, and you'll find that navigating Docker file systems is a piece of cake. Remember, practice makes perfect. Keep exploring and you'll become a Docker file system navigation pro in no time.